and welcome back to Crafted Creations. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble and paint Skyloo 3D Design Swoop Biker model kit. First we're going to need to use the boil and pop. You can check out my video on the boil and pop method in the link above. Now let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at these pieces here. And it was obvious that I was going to have to do some base coat painting because of the amount of overlays on this. I hadn't really thoroughly examined the kit, so I went ahead and probably did that a little bit sooner than I should have, because I didn't realize at this point I was going to have to cut the boots off. I thought that the boots were an overlay, but that was my mistake. So went ahead and started the base coat, and then as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and score a line around the boot. That way I can use my Dremel saw here in just a second. We're going to go ahead and saw that off here now. And then once the boot is cut, you can go ahead and just use that to kind of sand down any of the chaff. I like these types of blades on the Dremel because it'll cut through items, and then you can also use it to sand it down without having to swap heads on the Dremel. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here with the other leg. Here I am sanding down the chaff, but also flattening the base so that it would glue down easier. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put the overlay on for the belt. Here I made another mistake. I started gluing down the wrong leg. That leg is supposed to have an armor plate that's an overlay attached to it, so I couldn't really tell the two apart, and I grabbed the wrong one. I'm going to come back to that and fix that in a moment. But here I had to start sanding down some of the chest to fit the chest overlay. As you see there, it cracked on me, but that's an easy fix. A little bit of super glue, and then once you slap some paint over it, you won't even notice. And then next I had to shave down the arms so that the gauntlet overlay would fit. Had to do quite a bit of dremeling, but it didn't really have to be like super specific as to where you're making the cuts. As long as you didn't damage the articulation in any of the limbs, all you really had to do was just shave it as thin as possible so that way it would slip right on. I just kind of did a little even thing all around, and then I'd give it a test fit every maybe 10-20 seconds or so. Yeah, it really wasn't that bad. It looks like it's a lot of work, but it was pretty easy. So I went ahead and slipped on the gauntlets and popped on the wrists. You can see them starting to come together. Here is where I patched up the couple little cracks. After I get the overlay on there. And then on the left side, or on the right side rather, I glued the knee pad directly to the lower leg, and then on this one I glued it on the bottom to the lower leg as well, but I also added a touch of Gorilla Glue to the overlay, so that way it would hold this knee pad on a little bit sturdier and give it an extra anchor point. Here I slipped on the other piece, kind of test fitting to see where everything's going to go. The only real disappointing part with this model is the articulation. Because these are designed for resin prints, the resin cracks. It's kind of brittle unless you're using specific types of resin that are a little more flexible. For most kits, if you move it around, it's going to crack. So with this having the shoulder armor kind of slotted in with the belt strap overlay, that arm, you can't really move it up or down like you can on the right side. You can bend him at the elbows, but you're going to get just a little bit of wiggle. So it's kind of disappointing that you can't really articulate him well enough to ride the Swoop Bike model kit. On the legs, I noticed that there was no peg slots to peg feet into there, so I had to cut the feet off and then pop those in with some Gorilla Glue after shaving them down a little bit. So once I got that done, then I went back to the base coat. After I'd done the base coat, I went ahead and started painting the brown parts for the belt and the armor. And this is a fairly simple kit. I'm going to make a couple different versions of this. I'm going to make one pretty much like a Black Series version of the original Shadows of the Empire figure in 3 3/4. Then I'm going to do one with a lot more paint detailing and like weathering. That one will look a little bit more rugged in universe rather than true like homage to the original. But this is a great looking kit, and it's going to look pretty awesome when we're done. Next, I went ahead and started working on the helmet while I had that brown mixed up there. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix up some of the tan to use for the rest of the armor bits. Here I just used a like marigold yellow with some vanilla and a regular brown that I used earlier. I try to add very little bits of paint from other colors used in the models when I'm working on it, even if it's not like really noticeable to the eye. To me, what that does is it kind of makes things look more realistic, where you'll get glimpses of color from things that are next to each other, kind of how light reflects and bounce off of objects in the real world. So whether or not you actually notice that, when you're in certain lights, it does kind of make things, the color, especially when you're taking pictures and doing toy photography, it makes things look a lot more natural, like they're part of the real world. So anytime I'm doing something that's like a realistic style, like a Black Series figure, Marvel Legends tend to be more color saturated and kind of based off of the comics, so those you can get away with just straight up colors without any kind of washes or anything like that. So here I went in and finished some of the details after I got the figure fully assembled. Go ahead and paint the silver on the belt buckles there, or ammo pouches, or whatever these are. And go ahead and just do a quick little touch up there. Some of the bits and pieces that I may have missed, go back in and touch it up. Now we're going to go ahead and paint the little grooves in here. And here is the original Shadows of the Empire Swoop Biker. And here is my new custom Star Wars Black Series Shadows of the Empire Swoop Biker. Here he is with the bike from the Skyloo 3D Designs model kit. You can catch him on Instagram or subscribe to his Patreon if you want to make some of the kits of your own. I'm also a merchant member of Skyloo's Patreon, so if you want to purchase some of this particular kit or the bike, don't hesitate to reach out to me on social media. You can find the links on the profile below. If you want to see more customs from me in the future, don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, stay crafty.
Thank you.